The pop song has a bit of a bad reputation. It is one of the greatest and most ubiquitous art forms of the past century, and yet pop has become somewhat of a dirty word in music circles, with bands resisting the label and die-hard fans disparaging their favourites when they sell out with something a little bit poppier. Which is why when something like Sayonara Wild Hearts comes along, a neon-lit throwback arcade game unashamed in its love for pop music, I pay attention, because I love pop. More than just a celebration of pop music, Sayonara Wild Hearts stakes its claim as a pop album video game. This goes so much deeper than just being a playable music video, or a rhythm game set to glitzy pop songs. In fact, Sayonara isn't really a rhythm game at all, because pop music is about so much more than just its rhythm. Simon Flesser, one half of the game's dev studio Simogo, said that they didn't want to make a game that was deeply tied to the rhythm, but rather make a game in which the flow of the songs would influence the scenarios and actions on screen. Instead of being a game in which the player reacts to music, Sayonara Wild Hearts assimilates itself with music, taking the ideas core to pop as a genre and baking them into the very concept and design of the game. Pop skeptics will say that those core ideas are vapid, simple, and derivative. However, as a poptimist, I think these traits are a little misunderstood, and are actually what makes the genre so great. Sayonara Wild Hearts is a game about love and heartbreak, an age-old story that's been the focus of countless great pop songs over the years. While the plot itself is left rather vague, we are told in the intro that the protagonist's heart has been broken, and it's caused the opening of a rift in the universe, which is exactly what it feels like to have a broken heart. Our main character is thrown into a subspace of neon highways, and there encounters the Wild Hearts, masked avatars of romantic flings that have come and gone. You are always clashing against the Wild Hearts in contest or combat, representing the difficulties faced in each relationship. This vague and rather shallow approach to the narrative themes of love and heartbreak is something shared by pop music, and it's often perceived as vapidness. However, omitting details is what enables pop songs to be universal, connecting with so many different people by meeting them in their own circumstances. Pop songs allow us to project our own lives into the music and find comfort or joy in the sound. It helps us to identify and express our emotions, whether through dance or sad posting cryptic song lyrics to social media. Pop music is a way for people to feel understood, by themselves and by others. Pop is able to do this for so many people thanks to its inherent accessibility. Pop music is generally not meant to be a challenging listen. It's made to be refreshing and immediately enjoyable. So in its quest to be instantly likable, pop music is simple, and can even become formulaic in its approach. There's a general structure that most pop songs fall into. They often use the same basic chords and progressions, and the focus is on crafting catchy, bite-sized hooks. Likewise, Sayonara Wild Hearts is not a particularly challenging game. Most of the time, you'll just be swerving left and right to avoid obstacles, and occasionally pressing the A button in time to the beat. You can collect heart pieces along the way to generate points, but your score has no bearing on whether or not you pass a level. It's purely just an encouragement to do better. Even if you do crash or fall, the game doesn't penalize you any points for your failure. You're just quickly reset at the previous checkpoint, which are generously placed at every few bars of the song. The game also follows the same structure as pop music. The entire thing only takes around an hour to complete, about the length of an album, and it's broken up into 22 short levels, each only lasting a couple of minutes. While regular levels are scored by more formless electro-pop pieces, the boss levels feature fully fledged synth-pop songs and follow a more classic verse-chorus form. In the level Begin Again, you find yourself up against a motorcycle trio called the Dancing Devils. As the first verse opens the song and stage, you begin by chasing one of the gang members through the streets. When the pre-chorus arrives, they open up a gaping canyon, and as the chorus hits, the gameplay changes entirely, turning into Star Fox as you fly through rings in 4 directions. Then, as the second verse starts up, you're back to chasing a second devil through the city, and it repeats this same structure for each of the members, giving the level its verse-chorus pop song form. Also, just like pop songs, every level introduces a brand new idea that forms its basis. One moment you're riding a deer through an enchanted forest, bouncing atop enormous mushrooms, and the next you're in a muscle car drifting around the endless curves of a serpentine desert highway, or snapping between dimensions while slowly cruising through the city on your bike. Each level has its own unique hook. Hooks are the most essential part of a pop song. It's the catchy bit that grabs the listener's ear and demands their attention. A hook can be almost anything. The contagious vocal melody of a chorus, a daring instrumental lead, even a drum beat if you're the National. A good pop song should have multiple strong hooks that are distinct enough to identify the song at a glance, keep the listener consistently engaged throughout its runtime, and ultimately make the song stick in your head. So these level gimmicks in Sayonara Wild Hearts are hooks. They give each level its individual flavour, and keep you engaged by constantly changing the gameplay style on you, while keeping its core foundation simple. Even just a shift in perspective, such as looking backwards from in front so the controls are reversed, or limiting your peripheral vision in the first person, goes a long way in ensuring that there's no chance of you ever getting bored. However, levels are so short that the hooks are almost over as soon as you hit a groove. Take the stage Heartbreak IV, which introduces portals on each side of the screen that teleport you across. This mechanic is explored for not even a minute, then the level ends, the side portals are gone, and they never return. In the last minute of the game, there's an ethereal skateboard grind that lasts all of 5 seconds, and that's it. The game relentlessly throws new hooks at you, and just as quickly discards of them before they get stale, in much the same way as a pop song does. Some hooks may span a couple of levels, evolving in the process, and a few return later in the game for a medley, but you never feel completely satisfied that you got the full experience with any of the mechanics. It's a tantalizing taste that leaves you wanting more, drawing you back to the game to play it over again, just as you do with your favourite albums. These hooks aren't all entirely original though. Instead, they're often references to older games. Sayonara Wild Hearts is unashamed of its wide set of pop culture inspirations, and wears their influences proudly. Conceptually, it's reminiscent of Tron, Cardcaptor Sakura, and Scott Pilgrim. Musically, it has shades of Churches, M83, and Carly Rae Jepsen. And its gameplay roots are in arcade titles, such as Outrun, Space Harrier, and Xevious. But Sayonara wildly borrows small ideas from a diverse range of games, from 3D Sonic and Star Fox, to Rez and Panzer Dragoon, in order to keep the playstyle fresh. Pop music is often called derivative, due to its reliance on other sounds. It borrows liberally from other genres and styles of music from across the world, and covers it with a glassy sheen. This creates a wide diversity of sound within pop music, and provides a space for experimentation, in which less accessible forms of music can be introduced to a broader audience, and niche voices amplified. Pop is then a musical collage of the world's shared experience, wrapped up in a glossy packaging that everyone can appreciate. It may be derivative in its sound, simple in its composition, and vapid in its themes, but these are the things that make pop, pop. Despite how it plays or how it looks, Sayonara Wild Hearts is not a rhythm game or a racing game. It's not an endless runner or a bullet hell or a rail shooter. It's all of these genres, and yet it's none of them. Sayonara Wild Hearts is a pop game. It takes a simple foundation, augments it with a diverse set of rapid-fire hooks, and pairs it with a universal story of love and heartbreak. Instead of degrading music to just its rhythm and using it as a mechanic, Sayonara Wild Hearts inhabits the very ideals that make pop music what it is, and builds a game out of them. And just like my favourite albums and songs, it's a game that I will be returning to over and over again.